So, it looks like the internet is once again divided, and this time, it's not over. Who had the best outfit at the VMAs? We're talking about Charli XCX, Taylor Swift, and a whirlwind of fan theories that have taken over Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit all at once. Charli says there are no diss tracks on her Brat album, but fans are convinced otherwise, and now, with Taylor's brand new album announcement, the plot has officially thickened. Let's break down everything we know. What's really going on between Charli and Taylor? The truth behind the life of a showgirl, and what this means for the pop world in 2020. It all started when Charli XCX sat down for an interview and made a very direct statement. She said there are no diss tracks on Brat. Simple, right? But if there's one thing the internet loves, it's a mystery. Because the moment she said that, fans started digging deeper. Some claimed the track Sympathy is a Knife had lyrics that seemed a little too pointed, lines about fame, image control, and fake friendships. Others pointed out how Charli's rebellious, edgy tone throughout Brat feels like the complete opposite of Taylor's polished pop persona. Now, let's be real. Artists have always fed off creative tension, and it doesn't always mean there's real-life beef. But the timing? That's what sent fans into full detective mode. Just days after Charli's album dropped, Taylor Swift made her own announcement, and it was huge. Taylor revealed her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, in the most unexpected way possible, as a guest on her fiancé Travis Kelce's podcast. Taylor described the project as something deeply personal, inspired by her life during the Eras Tour, a time she calls the most exhausting and exhilarating chapter of her career. The album will feature 12 tracks, and there's one very special collaboration with none other than Sabrina Carpenter, who's been opening for Taylor during parts of the tour. Fans immediately lost it online, not only because the pairing makes perfect sense, but because it feels like Taylor is passing the torch to the next generation of pop stars, while still holding the spotlight. In clips shown during the reveal, Taylor explained the concept behind the title. Living the life of a showgirl means giving everything you have, the joy, the chaos, the exhaustion, and still finding beauty in the madness. She said she wanted this album to sound like the backstage moments no one sees. The laughter, the tears, the pure adrenaline right before she steps on stage. But here's where things get even more interesting. Fans started comparing both albums side by side. On one hand, Charli's Brat is raw, experimental, and chaotic, reflecting the digital disarray of modern fame. On the other, Taylor's The Life of a Showgirl feels polished, cinematic, and reflective, almost like they're opposite sides of the same coin. Is it all coincidence? Maybe, but let's not forget, Charli once toured with Taylor as an opener back in 2018. And since then, fans have speculated that things between the two might have gotten complicated. There's been no confirmed feud, but the subtle artistic contrasts have kept fans buzzing for years. Some Swifties believe The Life of a Showgirl includes subliminal references to the discourse, subtle lyrics about copycats, rivals, and women who turn art into competition. Others say it's all being blown out of proportion, and that Taylor's just reflecting on her life as one of the biggest touring artists in history. What's undeniable is the depth of emotion behind Taylor's words. This album seems like a love letter to performance itself, the act of stepping into the spotlight. Even when you're completely drained, she described it as the story of what it takes to keep the magic alive, even when you're living inside the chaos. And honestly, that message resonates with anyone who's followed her journey. The long nights on tour, the endless rehearsals, the pressure to reinvent herself every era. The Life of a Showgirl feels like Taylor finally pulling back the curtain. Between Charli's unapologetically rebellious Brat and Taylor's introspective Showgirl, we might be witnessing a symbolic moment in pop music, two artists defining what it means to be a woman in control of her art, but in completely different ways. And even if there's no real feud, it's this tension, this creative dialogue that keeps pop culture alive. Fans love connecting the dots, comparing lyrics, and trying to decode hidden meanings. That's what makes this era of music so fascinating. Taylor's new album isn't just about glitter and spotlights. It's about what happens after the curtain closes. She's showing fans the raw, unfiltered side of fame, the moments nobody sees when the lights go out. The album's visuals drive that message home. The cover photo shows Taylor sitting in a bathtub, not glamorous, but deeply symbolic. She described it as her end-of-night feeling, that moment when the adrenaline fades, and she's left alone with her thoughts. It's vulnerable, almost haunting, but incredibly real. To bring that theme to life, Spotify launched a massive pop-up event in New York City. Fans could walk through immersive rooms, take photos, and even read a mysterious lyric written across a mirror. Oftentimes, it doesn't feel so glamorous to be me. That same line later appeared in glowing lights in the middle of Times Square and instantly went viral. Some fans saw it as Taylor's most honest confession yet, while others think it's a clue about a darker, more personal track on the album. One thing's for sure, The Life of a Showgirl isn't just another Taylor Swift album. It's her way of letting us peek behind the curtain and see the price of the spotlight. But here's where the story takes a turn, because not everyone is applauding Taylor's vulnerability this time. After that lyric, "Oftentimes, it doesn't feel so glamorous to be me," hit Times Square, the internet exploded. What was meant to sound emotional and honest quickly became the center of online backlash. Critics and fans alike began calling the line tone-deaf, saying it doesn't sit right coming from someone worth over $1.6 billion and living one of the most privileged lives on the planet. On social media, users mocked Taylor for what they called cosplaying struggle, accusing her of trying to romanticize hardship while existing in unimaginable luxury. Others said the lyric feels disconnected from reality, especially when so many people are dealing with real financial stress. Some even compared the line to her anti-hero lyric, "Hi, I'm the problem, it's me," saying Taylor is once again recycling her fame-centered narrative. And this time, they're not impressed. The harshest critics labeled the rollout narcissistic and out of touch, arguing that Taylor's brand of self-reflection has become less relatable and more performative. Online, phrases like cash-grabby rollout and unself-aware era started trending, proof that even the biggest pop star in the world isn't immune to public fatigue. Still, whether you think the backlash is fair or not, one thing's certain, Taylor's lyrics have once again ignited a massive cultural conversation. And just when fans thought the drama couldn't get any deeper, it did. Because now the conversation around the life of a showgirl has shifted from tone deafness to something much heavier: microaggressions and political insensitivity. Commentators online began dissecting Taylor's lyrics line by line, accusing some of them of carrying subtle and sometimes not so subtle cultural implications. One of the most talked about examples is a rumored track called "I Like My Friends" canceled. Critics claim the song downplays serious political divides by suggesting that Taylor still likes her friends, even those tied to MAGA supporters and other controversial public figures. According to the commentary, this lyric sends a troubling message that political harm can be overlooked for the sake of comfort and privilege. The speaker in the viral breakdown video calls it a classic example of centrist attachment, where Taylor's attempt to sound tolerant actually comes across as dismissive of the real impact those ideologies have on marginalized groups. And it doesn't stop there. The video also clears up a major misconception: the idea that Taylor endorsed Kamala Harris. According to the creator, that's not true. Taylor only said she planned to vote for her, which the speaker argues isn't a real endorsement, but rather a way to maintain political relevance without taking genuine risk. Another lyric that sparked backlash comes from a track where Taylor reportedly says she's not a bad bee. Commentators online immediately called out the phrase as problematic, interpreting it as a microaggressive comparison toward women of color. They argue that Taylor, perhaps unintentionally, positions herself in contrast to the women her partner dated before her, revealing insecurities about beauty, desirability, and race that echo long-standing issues in pop culture. Together, these critiques paint a complex picture: a superstar trying to show vulnerability and humor, but landing in controversy instead. And once again, the internet is split between those who think Taylor is being unfairly scrutinized and others who believe this is the moment pop's biggest name finally needs to face accountability. Now, beyond all the controversy, the album's sound itself has also become a major point of debate. Look, this post on Reddit that a fan made about the album. All the music is so similar on the new album, as if they could not come up with more variety of instruments. They all sound way too similar, and nothing really stands out. And the lyrics to some of her songs are so cringe. I can't believe it came from the same person who wrote Ivy. I am not a musician and can't write poems, but I would be embarrassed to release lyrics to the songs such as Father Figure, Would, Actually Romantic. They sound like a 12-year-old wrote them. On an interpolation of George Michael's Father Figure, she declares, "My stick's bigger." On Would, she says, "His love was the key to open up my thighs." I expected much better from an A-list and experienced songwriter. Class, depth, eloquence, those songs are awful. George Michael would not want to have anything to do with it. Compared his Careless Whisper or his Father Figure lyrics to her writing. I am starting to wonder if she really wrote previous lyrics when she was younger or she is regressing, because I am completely shocked that these songs are even released. The bar is so low nowadays. Idiocracy was a documentary. I guess I didn't expect her to lower herself to sing about my dick is bigger, etc. It is reductive for an accomplished songwriter. Also, every single song on this album is a shitty version of another popular song, many people note. Critics say The Life of a Showgirl doesn't just struggle lyrically, it stumbles musically too. The speaker in the viral review claims Taylor seems to be chasing a younger pop trend, specifically Sabrina Carpenter's talk singing style, the soft-spoken, cheeky delivery that's taken over TikTok pop. But on Taylor, they argue it sounds awkward, like she's trying to fit into a sound that isn't hers. Some even describe the melodies as musical theater-like, comparing parts of the album to Hamilton, dramatic, overly wordy, and too self-aware for mainstream pop. The result, they say, feels more like performance art than music people actually want to replay. Then comes the question of artistic maturity. The commentary points out that after 2 decades in the spotlight, Taylor's still writing about prom nights, high school memories, and teenage heartbreak. For some fans, that's nostalgic, but for critics, it's repetitive. The narrator even draws a comparison to Drake, saying both artists seem stuck in a loop, still mining youthful themes long after those moments have passed in real life. It's not that they can't write about the past, but that it feels disconnected from who they are now. In short, the argument isn't that Taylor's lost her touch, it's that she hasn't evolved. And for an artist whose career has always been built on reinvention, that's the harshest critique of all. But despite all the backlash, not everyone's turning against Taylor. In fact, a massive part of her fan base is more excited than ever. The Life of a Showgirl pop-up event in New York proved it. Lines wrapped around the block, selfies filled social media, and TikTok was flooded with reactions from fans decoding every lyric teaser and room design. Showgirl Taylor quickly started trending, and even with the criticism, engagement around the album skyrocketed. For the Swifties, this isn't about controversy. It's about the thrill of a new era, the mystery of Taylor's storytelling, and the excitement of seeing what she'll do next. Love her or hate her, one thing's clear: Taylor Swift still knows how to make the world stop and pay attention.